Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I've just masked up the rear window, the door shuts, because we're going to blast in around the door shuts, and also we're going to blast the engine bay. But the reason why we're using cardboard too, guys, we don't want any of the garnet going through, and yeah, just making a mess inside. You got to clean it all out inside the car, and we're not painting inside the car too, because it's really good and the owner doesn't want us to paint in there, so we don't want to make a mess of it in there either. So it's a little bit of extra work, but it's all good, just masking it up. Alrighty.
Get this boot lid off, eh?
Yeah, we'll take the boot lid off, and if you guys are at home watching and you decide to take a boot lid off or a bonnet, if you decide to take a boot lid off or a bonnet, you got to be really careful. It's a team thing. You got to work together so you don't mark anything, especially when you're putting them back on.
And then once you've taken it off, that's the easy part. When you sit it back on, and you've got to realign the whole thing. That's the tricky part, where you try not to scratch anything.
Yeah, and where our hands are down the bottom, we always put our fingers down the bottom of the panel, so if it does drop, it hits your fingers and squashes them before it goes metal to metal. Okay guys, so I nearly got the blasting finished. You can see how the finish is. All the old paint gone, so I'm nearly finished. I've got a little bit more here and there, a couple of spots. First coat of primer on the engine bay, and I've still got blast up in that corner, so I'll do that tomorrow morning. Yeah, it looks heaps better than the old paint, that's for sure.
Here we are in the boot, down the the back of the whole beaver tail boot opening area. We fully blasted that boot floor after we welded. We put a patch right in that whole section there, that was gone. And we used another piece out of another floor pan which has got the factory pressings in it there, as you can see. That's in there for strength, and this had a lot of previous work, previous welding, this floor, and it had a bunch of stretch in it. Like, I mean, you could just push that up and down. It was really weak. So what we've done in this process of putting this piece back in, this patch panel if you want to call it that, and plugged up a whole lot of pinholes, then we shrunk the floor and now it's solid as. But before you could actually just push that and that floor would just move up and down. It had so much stretch in it. But that's got rid of the rust, and we've gone right around, right up into this beaver area where it was rotted out, right along it, up around the lip of the boot. That's all been patched up, welded up, and it's got all the filthy, dirty old paint and rust out of it. And now we'll epoxy prime that, and we'll give it a knock back, and that'll come up, nice bit of satin over it in the finish. And that's the rust repair around the boot, guys.
Alright guys, prime is all in the boot. We'll come over here and what's going on here? Dad, you doing the final rub?
Yeah.
So what's this, the last rub for it, or?
Yeah, this is the last rub for it, just the last freshen up. And it'll be ready after this. Run some 400 over that, just to finish it off. Round all those edges and everything, but it's come up real straight now.
Yeah, nice. And then, yeah guys, all the panels are rubbed. So today I will drop down the cross member, and I'm also dropping out the suspension at the same time, just all together. And the reason why I'm doing this is so I can sandblast in around a few areas where I can't get to. We want to make it pretty mint in under here as well. And then I've found a couple of little things. We did see it before, but we thought we'd show you guys.
So what's up there, Mick?
Just here on the strut where they've cut it with a 1mm.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, so obviously
that's a bit rude. It's a bit shitty the way they've done that. They've obviously probably not wanted to use spring compressors or bother taking the strut out.
Yeah, because they've replaced it with king springs.
Maybe back in the day prior to these, they might have had another spring in there which they've tried to cut the bottom coil off to try and drop it down a bit, and instead of pulling everything out, they've just roughly butchered into it with a 1mm blade. So yeah, I think they'll have to go.
Yeah, so
yeah, definitely.
And because safety comes first, especially it's putting a nice motor in it, like it's going to have a bit of power.
So what have you done? Drop these strut bolts off?
Yeah, I'm going to drop, yeah, I've dropped them off.
And engine cross member out. So how are you going to lift it? What are you going to do once the engine cross member's gone?
I'm going to make a little frame. We'll have the chain onto it.
Oh yeah, sweet. Be able to just hook her up and move around.
Alright, cross members out, guys. So now I can see what I'm doing in under here. And as you can see, it's not that rusty. Like it's pretty good. So I'm going to actually shield it all again in under here, so it's all protected from all the dust and rain. And but yeah, so that's it, guys. So I'll get the blaster going once I get it out of here again and start blasting. Like even that little bit of rust is nothing. Alright guys, so I'm just about to blast underneath the car, and so it's pretty rough. just starting to get a bit of rust around it everywhere, in different places. So we'll get stuck into it and clean up under here. Alright guys, so we've dropped the diff out, the rear end, so I can blast it heaps better. And you can see what it's like under here. It's, like I said, it was just starting to rust. We've got it just in time now.
Hatch panel in the boot under there, but it looks decent. We put in.
I started blasting yesterday. Yeah, you can see it looks heaps better. And the front's all blasted up. It's come up a tree. Okay guys, done all underneath it, it's all blasted. So now I'll put some primer down. It's actually pretty good under here. Okay. Okay guys, just finished underneath it. Got all the fresh primer and paint under there. We used an epoxy under there too. Come up really nice. So when Chris puts it on the hoist, it's going to be nice. He can work on it. Alright guys, so I've got the final bits of primer on the engine bay, so that should rub up really nice. Hopefully one more rub and I'll be finished in the engine bay, so that's going to be a bit exciting. We'll be moving on, and we'll come back here. How's this going, Dad? Boot's looking good now.
Yeah, the boot's cleaned up, welded up, bit of primer over it, and all around the back of this window opening, and all around this boot lip right around it.
What do you got there?
Well, what it is,
That's a high there.
high spot there, another one there. Back in the day, they put stuff in the boot and they shoved it up from underneath, and it's hit the skin and pushed dints up. And that's what those little highs, just tap them back down and rub them a little bit straight. Yep,
It's been one of those jobs, eh?
more hits than Elvis.
You can see at the front now, I've nearly finished rubbing. So with the last rub on this job, with any job what we do, it's got to be really nice. So yeah, then we'll come around the back. Dad's he's got something to do this morning, so I thought I'd just film what he's been up to. You can see all that rust where he's cleaned it all up now. It looks brand new, the boot floor, so it's come up really nice. So yeah guys, we've got a couple of solid days of rubbing now. Just probably it's going to take us about a week now just to finish it all, make sure all the panels are 100% right, and then we can move on and go from there. You can see the bay's all nice now. It's ready for some colour. Yeah, you can see everything's nice and rubbed. So that's all rubbed back.
Hey guys, I'll give you a look inside the boot. It's on the final rub now, and as you can see it's coming up very nice in there. What we're using here is what we call a 400 grit dry rub paper or free cut paper, and I want to have that really spot on in there. It's come up well, and after this rub it'll be ready for paint. We use a satin black 2-pack in the boot to finish that off, but it's come up well. It's coming towards the end of the boot repairs. It's nice and straight, square, and you mix around the other side there on the door shuts. He's given it a final rub.
So yeah, I'm just finished rubbing in around the door shuts. I'm going to put another coat of primer. I'm just want to get a little bit better finish. I've got a couple of little imperfections I want to take out, so I'm going to prime it once more. Come around this side. It's all ready for paint now. This whole side's coming really nice. Real nice, so the base coat's going to lay down on that perfectly, and then yeah, ready to get some colour. So all this side's ready to paint. So yeah, it's pretty exciting guys. This is the fun part soon.
We'll catch you on the next episode.